Each morning, we wake up thankful to live in a free nation with liberty and justice for all. But sometimes those liberties can be put in jeopardy, and you may have questions about what to do or who to call. Let Doc Blanchard of Blanchard, Miriam, Adele, and Kirkland help you find the answers. Attorneys at law since 1974 and located in downtown Ocala. If you have legal issues, don't go it alone. Call 352-732-7218. Blanchard, Miriam, Adele, and Kirkland, helping protect your liberties every day. On this episode of What Not to Do, brought to you by
Mike's Got Plumbing. If water runs through it, we do it.
Holy what have you done in my kitchen?
Oh, honey, how is it? I never know when she's coming home.
What are all these pipes laying around? Why is my dishwasher in the living room, and why is the carpet all wet?
Well, remember that fancy new kitchen remodel you've always wanted?
Oh, I do, and this is not it.
But I thought I might save some money by doing it myself.
You thought wrong. I promise this is going to cost you way more. You should have called in the professionals at Mike's Got Plumbing, because I'm pretty sure when I flush the toilet, water is not supposed to come out of the sink.
Noticed that, did you?
The next thing I'm going to notice is you calling Mike's Got Plumbing like you should have done in the first place.
Yes, dear. 866-314-4443.
Yes, 866-314-4443.
That played out so differently in my head. On next week's episode of What Not to Do.
No, not monkeys.
David Moore here, running for Marion County Property Appraiser. I believe in faith, family, and freedom. I have over 29 years of experience in the real estate and finance industry. I own a local realty. I have a bachelor's in business, a master of arts in leadership. I believe that my education and experience makes me uniquely qualified to be your next property appraiser of here in Marion County. I have both public and private sector experience. For more information, go to davidmoore.com. Political advertisement paid for and approved by David Moore, Republican candidate for Marion County Property Appraiser.
Hello, gorgeous.
Hi, this is Becky at Hello Gorgeous Salon. It's time to get that new look started. Let's get rid of those sun-damaged ends and faded out color and get into something rich and vibrant. Humidity is not your hair's friend. It causes your hair to capture moisture and leaves it looking dry and unhealthy. Hello Gorgeous is a certified Brazilian blowout salon. We can tame those locks, leaving your hair healthy and shiny with a Brazilian smoothing treatment. So let us help you make a great first impression. Call us today to set your appointment at Hello Gorgeous. Our number is 352-351-5358. Again, that's 352-351-5358. And don't forget, we also do men and children's cuts too. 351-5358. Hello Gorgeous is conveniently located in the heart of downtown Ocala. So call today and set up your appointment at Hello Gorgeous Salon at 351-5358. That's 351-5358.
Hello, gorgeous.
Buying and selling? Then you know about OcalaForSale.com, Marion County's internet marketplace. But there's something you might not know. I'm Michael Warren, president of USA for Sale. We created Ocala for Sale in 1998 with a passion to connect buyers and sellers and to help local businesses reach shoppers online. On Ocala for Sale, you're just a click away from thousands of deals for real estate, rentals, cars, furniture, appliances, horses, pets, and more. Looking for a job? Our Help Wanted section is booming. Shopping the villages and beyond? Now you'll find great deals on villages for sale, as well as our new statewide classified, Florida for Sale. Log on today and post your free classified. You'll reach thousands of shoppers who check our listings every day. Are you a business looking to get a corner on the internet marketplace? USA for Sale can help you reach your target audience in Ocala, the villages, and statewide. There's no better place to reach shoppers than right where they shop. Let us show you how. Learn more by calling 352-629-1663 or visit us online at usaforsale.com.
Ocala Business Leaders Incorporated is a group of independent local firms providing a wide range of quality goods and services. Each firm strives to maintain the highest level of professional integrity and 100% customer satisfaction. When you're looking for goods and services, call a member of the Ocala Business Leaders, and we are confident you will be pleased with the results. If you are interested in becoming a member of the Ocala Business Leaders, join us at the Ocala Elks Lodge, 25th Avenue in Ocala, any Wednesday at 7 a.m. and enjoy a breakfast on us. For more information, check OcalaBusinessLeaders.com. WOCA.
Times of clouds and sunshine today with a shower or thunderstorm in the afternoon, high 91 to 93. Tomorrow, cloudy to partly sunny, showers and a thunderstorm, humid, high 89 to 93. Sunday and Monday, variably cloudy with a shower or thunderstorm possible, high Sunday 87 to 92, high Monday 90 to 94. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm Brian May.
WOCA. Ocala.
Welcome back. You're listening to AIM Ocala Live, WOCA, The Source. Good morning. Happy Friday to you guys as we are now coming up on 15 minutes past the top of the 9 o'clock hour as we just had on Joe Dallas Mulatto, the candidate for Congress, Florida District 3, as we had him on now. As we've had him on a little bit more, we're going to have him on again, talking a little bit about his campaign and so on and so forth, and making it for some good radio there nonetheless. As we do say when we do have him back on, too, we always have our phone lines open, 622-9622, if you'd like to give him any questions or any concerns or facts of life or anything like that. As we move on a little bit with the show here, this one was really interesting out of Florida. A 300-pound sea turtle was rescued after it was stuck in the limestone rocks. It says barely a month after rescuing a sea turtle stranded on its back on Jupiter Island in Florida. It says the staff of Blowing Rocks Preserve were at it again last week. While monitoring the beachfront last Wednesday, Nature Conservancy staff members came across a female loggerhead turtle in the preserve of Anastasia's limestone rock. A crew of 4 rigged a sling under the turtle, hoisted her, and turned her around, according to the news release from the Nature Conservancy, which owns the preserve. Once plopped in the water, the turtle crawled and swam back out to sea. As the Conservancy said, the turtle weighed an estimated 300 pounds, saying, quote, "Our team was in the right place at the right time, and fortunately, she had not sustained any significant injuries," which is one of their big concerns. Blowing Rocks Preserve manager Christy Krasko said in a statement, "We are, quote, grateful that our work allows us the opportunity to support loggerheads and other imperial species." It says Krasko's team ran some assessments of the turtle, hoping before helping her back out of the water, as the conference said. It says they measured her shell, looked over her injuries and disease, and scanned her for identification tags. There were none, as the turtle rescued at Blowing Rocks in late May was stranded under somewhat similar circumstances, as the staff suspects. It says they believe that the turtle was flipped on its back after bumping into the preserve's limestone. And it says Blowing Rocks is across the Marion County line with, Blowing Rocks is across the Martin County line, but this has been another big year for the turtle nesting in northern Palm Beach County. As they say, through Tuesday evening, Loggerhead Marine Life Center reported almost 11,898 nests on the 9.5 miles of beachfront in monitors in the Jupiter area, more or less on par with how many nests there were at this point last year. By the end of the season, Loggerhead counted about 21,000 nests, a record total. Sea turtle nesting season lasts from March through the end of October in South Florida. So it's going on now, which is in lieu of why the 300-pound turtle was doing what it's doing, is they were able to rescue it. Huge turtle. Beautiful turtle, though, too. Loggerhead back out to sea, as they're doing their best to help them out. Nonetheless, 300 pounds, man, that's incredible. That's incredible. This thing is absolutely huge, but pretty cool nonetheless. As also, too, the mentioning of 11,898 nests, as it's pretty good. So probably gives them a better chance, too, knowing how the beaches were more closed and so on and so forth with the COVID-19 pandemic and the resurgence of it. Probably gives them just a little bit more breathing room, so to speak. Moving on, it says It says here, 2 obstacles at the Ocala courthouse, as they mention budget, and backlog. As it comes through here, it says basically the Marion County Judicial Center in Ocala has a relatively quiet place since the pandemic hit. The result, a case backlog and funding woes, as this was brought up with a number of people affected by COVID-19 rising daily, especially in Marion County. Court cases are being delayed. They're being delayed statewide. The delays have drastically slowed some criminal proceedings and cut into expended revenues. It says count clerk offices are being hit particularly hard by budget shortfalls, as David Elsperman, clerk of the Circuit Court of Marion County, said the virus has created, quote, a major challenge for clerks of court across the state of Florida, with a $60 million reduction in operating funds. As they mentioned in Marion County, it says this translates to a $475,000 reduction. They're saying to the operating budget for the next 3 months, which is the fourth quarter of his office's fiscal year, saying, quote, this will impact the ability to serve the courts and our residents, which is counter to the commitment to efficiently provide essential services that promote public safety in the country. As Elsperman said, clerks have no statutory authority to create or maintain or reserve or an emergency fund. He said that their funds come from fines, fees, service charges, and court costs. Those funding sources, he said, have been greatly reduced during the pandemic. For instance, he said the office's projected revenue for March through June was $2.1 million. Actual revenue came in $493,000 below that, which is interesting. At first, it's kind of like, oh, man, that's crazy. But then when you back it up and you're like, due to fines, fees, and service charges, and you're like, well, the fines, and then probably their outrageous fees, and then obviously service charges that are added to it just to pack onto it. So anyways, the only way to address the shortfall is through some sort of emergency funding by the governor or the legislature when it convenes. It says to make up for the lost cash, he said he would have to make some painful decisions. He has frozen positions, eliminated positions, implemented furlough dates, and plans to close on 3 Fridays in September. He said all travel was, quote, canceled, and the 7 positions currently funded for data-driven responsibilities will be temporarily transferred into a court technology trust fund provided by law, saying, quote, we simply can't provide the services the way we have in the past with a 22% reduction. This is to be applied to the next 3 months in our operating budget. As it said in prepared remarks, the way our offices are funded and the delay with the governor's office addressing our funding needs, we must resort to extreme cost-reducing measures. For instance, there has been no jury trials or grand jury meetings, which is an important function of the court. As they say, speedy trials are being, quote, told, according to local lawyers. That means if someone is arrested on a misdemeanor offense, then the case has 90 days to have it be resolved. In the event of a felony arrest, it has 175. If the state's attorney office files charges, or if the person is indicted, then the defendant can request speedy trial, and it should commence within 60 days. However, because of the virus, if a person is taken into custody today, his or her speedy trial is on hold until the courts can get the go-ahead from the Supreme Court to resume full operation. So essential court procedures such as first appearance, arraignments, bail request, juvenile hearings, change of pleas, well, they're all being conducted electronically. So in Marion County, figures from the clerk's office indicate that from March through July 1st, 21,000 criminal and civil cases were pending resolution. Of those 2,900 criminal and civil cases, they have been reopened for various reasons. The number doesn't include people arrested after July 1st, which was just a few days ago. To help reduce the backlog, Chief Assistant State Attorney Rick Ridgway said that the office has been working with Public Defender's office to mitigate what he calls the tsunami once they're allowed to resume regular business. And I think this is all kind of interesting. Part of the reason I'm reading this and why it's been brought up, so to speak, is when you start to look out and zoom out to the idea of everything that's been affected in lieu of COVID-19, and then and I guess too at the same part is we're starting to see where so many different things now more microscoped or zoomed in, if you will, are looked at on how they're affected by COVID-19. And this is one of the big ones when it starts to come into an idea of a budget fear or just even criminal and civil cases and what that means for them as they come through and through. Some of the things proposed, including more people to enter pretrial diversion programs and working on plea agreements. Some of these steps already being taken. They say it's a collaborative effort. The Fifth Circuit Public Defender Mike Graves said lawyers and offices are working tirelessly to reduce the number of cases facing the court, but he views this situation as a, quote, moving target. He said most depositions where lawyers interview witnesses are now conducted by Zoom, and practical obstacles make things even tougher. And they say, for example, said in this Ocala waiting room, there can only have 4 or 5 people at a time because of the social distancing protocols. And Graves said sometimes it's difficult to be in contact with clients because some do not have access to computers or the lack of the internet service thereof. It says visiting the county jail where COVID-19 cases have been detected also poses a challenge for public defenders and private lawyers who are encouraged to use video link to talk with clients. Local defense lawyer Bill Ramputi, Bill Ramputi, said that the courts and judges are doing a tremendous job on how things are going on. However, he said that this time has been a hard one for everybody from prosecutors to the defense attorneys. And as that goes on and on, it's interesting to think about how before the pandemic, actually within the month of when we did the stay-at-home order, I actually had jury duty, and I know I was one of other people who had jury duty come up, and I didn't have to go because that's when everything was going on and on for the stay-at-home order and shutting things down. But here we are, look at how many months later, and still all of this stuff still hanging out there. It's pretty incredible. As they say, despite the uncertainty, Ellspermann said that, quote, we have made as many possible cuts as possible with the hope that customer service would not be severely impacted. But he said more than 96% of our budget is personnel costs. And it's just kind of incredible now the impact that has, considering the months where we're at, for the obstacles of the Ocala courthouse, which is one of the big things, the backlog. And because of the backlog and because of everything else, how it affects the budget. And like we said, saying, quote, we have a backlog of court cases. At the same time, we are losing substantial portion of our funding, which is just crazy nonetheless. So it's the effect of what we're seeing in our own community with something like the judiciary system and everything else with it that has happened from COVID-19, which again kind of reiterates where we can see. Remember, the litmus test for the idea of where we're going to be at come fall for the rest of the year is why with the conversation this past week has been so hard on getting kids back to school so we can really see where things can go to get back to more, so to speak, normalcy. Just incredible. As also mentioned, kind of moving on, is the Florida Payment Protection Program loan recipients see the full searchable list of who received them. You can actually look to see the results as the results show the range of the loans received, jobs retained, and date approved, as well as other details released by the federal government. As they say, which Florida businesses that applied for and received a loan as a part of the national effort to save small companies during the coronavirus pandemic. Well, that's now public information, as the U.S. government has released a list of businesses that have received emergency pandemic loans of $150,000 or more, designed to cover expenses such as payroll, rent, and the loans that do not have to be paid back if at least 60% of the money is spent keeping and rehiring workers, which is so tough to do considering there's a resurgence and a lot of these businesses are being told to thwart or circumvent the idea of maybe going full capacity, which would then, needing full capacity, you would need more employees. So there you would hire or bring more back, but it's hard to do. So that's why this is, again, a little bit of a tumultuous idea here. Otherwise, it carries a 1% interest rate and must be repaid within 2 years. As they say, search through Florida's businesses that benefited from the Paycheck Protection Program, with the database that they have right here on the Ocala Star banner, which allows you to search and narrow the list by typing in the business or even the city name to the idea of now public record of who actually got the help. But then again, I don't know what that does, if it just makes you kind of interested and curious altogether about who got some of the help nonetheless. But anyway, as we make our way towards the bottom of the 9 o'clock hour here, we got more good show coming at you, coming your way. As when we come back, we'll be doing our On This Day in History and taking a look back at some of the events that have taken place July 10th on this day in history. There's some good ones here that'll get us going here for this Friday. As we stay tuned, more good show on the way as we basically are approaching 85 degrees already. We can start to see it clouding up just a little bit more for the expectation of afternoon showers and thunderstorms. 60% chance to have that happen, and a heat index valued at 107. Oh, man. Oh, man. You're listening to The Source, WOCA Ocala, 96.3 FM, 1370 AM. As we are streaming live, YouTube Live, WOCA, The Source Radio. Be sure and hit the like button and hit subscribe so you can stay up to date on all the videos we come out with AM Ocala Live, so you can go back and look at the ones that you may have missed when you were doing other things. But as we welcome you this Friday, we say good morning. I'm your host, Adam. We will be back right after this.
Fox News, I'm Chris Foster. It's another day of at least 60,000 coronavirus cases confirmed in the U.S. and a record number of deaths in some states.
Texas Governor Greg Abbott ordered hospitals in more than 100 counties to postpone elective surgeries. The medical director of a Houston hospital predicts his city will soon resemble New York during its peak because people got careless during the 4th of July. As federal health officials grapple to mitigate the outbreak, the Trump administration is pushing states to reopen school in the fall. The CDC is expected to issue more information for teachers and parents.
Fox's Jonathan Seri. President Trump says Joe Biden has been brainwashed by the radical left and couldn't pass a cognitive test.
I actually took one when I very recently when I was, the radical left was saying, "Is he all there? Is he all there?" And I proved I was all there because I aced it.
The president with Fox's Sean Hannity. America's listening to Fox News.
It may not be stomach issues.
For me, it's intense gas, or pain, or diarrhea, sometimes all at once, over and over.
I spent years with the symptoms, but could never figure it out.
No matter what I did, they never went away. So I decided to break it down for my doctor and get really specific about my symptoms.
We discovered that exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI, may be the reason for my stomach issues.
EPI is caused by my pancreas. It leads to diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, unexplained weight loss, and oily stools. The symptoms just don't go away.
But EPI can show up with even one symptom.
The good news? EPI is manageable.
But to get to the right diagnosis, you have to break it down for your doctor and get specific about the severity of your symptoms.
Visit identifyepi.com to learn more and use the symptom checker to help change the conversation with your doctor. Brought to you by AbbVie.
From the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
It's time for Farm and Ranch headlines on the Southeast AgNet. I'm Tyron Spearman reporting. Farmers who have not yet completed their crop acreage reports after the spring planting are reminded to make an appointment with the local FSA office, Farm Service Agency, before the July 15th deadline. While that date is a major deadline for most crops, acreage report deadlines do vary by county and by crop. So contact your FSA office and report your acreage. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, FSA has implemented acreage reporting flexibility this year. It can work with producers to file timely acreage reports by phone, by email, online tools, and virtual meetings. Some FSA offices are open for in-person appointments, but you must call first to get an appointment. Many FSA offices are using Microsoft Teams software to virtually meet with producers to review maps and documents for certification. County offices can provide producers with major maps along with the instructions for completing and returning the maps through email. After completed maps and all acreage reports information is received, FSA will make an official software update and send the producer the completed report of his acreage for the year. Producers must return the signed document certifying their acreage to the FSA office through mail, email, or online by the application deadline of July the 15th.
For generations, we've worked the land. We've faced hardships and uncertainty before, but you can depend on Florida's farmers. We will continue to rise before dawn and harvest our crops, ensuring that Florida-grown fruits and vegetables are in your stores and that your family is fed. We are providers for our families and yours. We're Florida's farmers, and we're in this together.
I'm Tyron Spearman for Southeast AgNet.
Well, the new year is upon us, and that means getting to those forgotten projects that you promised you would. So whether you're tackling a small honey-do list or building the Taj Mahal, Sunbelt Rentals will help you get the job done right with the right tools. From carpet cleaners to excavators, Sunbelt Rentals has what you need. So what are you waiting for? Get it done. Rent it now from Sunbelt Rentals, located on Highway 27, just a half mile east of I-75, or visit sunbeltrentals.com. Get it done. Rent it now. Sunbelt Rentals.
Hi, Matt Wilkerson here, your Verizon representative with news that will hum your car, make it smart and safe. How? With the new Hum device by Verizon. You can rest assured you're never alone. Flat tire? Lost? Accident? For $10 a month, Hum by Verizon has you covered. And I will come to you in Marion County to install the Hum for free. Time to call me at 352-528-0020. Are you ready to hum along? Call 352-528-0020.
Veterans Helping Veterans USA. Call 352-433-2320. We help veterans and their families with limited financial assistance, counseling, employment referrals, and a food and clothing bank. You can help in making a huge difference in the veterans' lives we serve by donating food, clothing, household items, or direct financial assistance. All donations are tax deductible. Veterans Helping Veterans USA. 352-433-2320. Thank you for your attention, and God bless America.
On July 15th at 10:05 a.m., representatives from the College of Central Florida will be the guests as we discuss the open house event and registering for fall classes. Again, that's Wednesday, July 15th at 10:05 a.m. Be sure to listen, because whether learning in the classroom or your room, education is a passport to the future. Tomorrow belongs to those who prepare for it today.
Gene Powell Pasture Mowing, 352-629-2440. In addition to our pasture mowing and tractor services, including zero-turn mowers for your fence line finish, we also offer rototilling and fence row spraying. We are family-owned and operated, licensed and insured, and farm-ready. Powell Gene, Gene, at yahoo.com, 352-629-2440. Gene Powell Pasture Mowing, 352-629-2440. Gene is a proud United States veteran.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
David Moore here, running for Marion County Property Appraiser. I believe in faith, family, and freedom. I have over 29 years of experience in the real estate and finance industry. I own a local realty. I have a bachelor's in business, a master of arts in leadership. I believe that my education and experience makes me uniquely qualified to be your next property appraiser of here in Marion County. I have both public and private sector experience. For more information, go to davidmoore.com. Political advertisement paid for and approved by David Moore, Republican candidate for Marion County Property Appraiser.
Why call two men in a truck? If you're like most people, you're moving and you work hard. You've got lots of stuff and no time to move it. You need pros, trained, professional moving experts to do the heavy lifting for you. A team who will work hard and get the job done right. People who care about your things as much as you do. Time is of the essence, and you want it done fast. That's why you call Two Men in a Truck, the movers who care. Visit twomeninatruck.com today and get moving. Or call 352-289-0666.
2 Men in a Truck.
Oh, hey, Grandpa.
Oh, hey, Grandpa. Hey, Grandpa.
Yes, buddy?
Can you take me fishing this weekend?
I'd love to.
Have you noticed a change in your hearing over the years? Missing the little things in life? Visit Beneficial Hearing in Ocala today. Their expert team of audiologists will make sure you never miss a moment. Call Beneficial Hearing today at 352-629-4418 or visit them online, beneficialhearing.com.
Hello, I'm Mark Sears with Regency Printing. With over 10 years in the printing business, I know you'll find Regency Printing the place for all your local printing needs. Plus, I have fax services, mailbox rentals, notary service, U.S. mail, pack and ship, all at one convenient location, 2375 Northeast 25th Avenue. Just look for the yellow signs. Regency Printing, 789-6683. That's 789-6683. Regency Printing.
Pals Ocala Auto Repair fixes all makes and models. Pals makes sure that your vehicle's engine, mechanical, and electrical components are healthy at all times. Pals team would much rather see you drive to their shop for a full checkup than be towed in for a complex repair. Give Pals a call today to schedule your next service appointment. 352-414-2984. What? A nationwide warranty, 36 months or 36,000 miles, whichever comes first? Pals looks forward to servicing you and servicing your vehicle. 352-414-2984.
WOCA.
Time for a whole bunch of summertime sale BOGOs at Bob Wine's Camellia Garden in Ocala. Here are just a few of the buy one, get one free deals in this week's ad. Bob has ever-blooming button gardenias, blue and white plumbago, budded and blooming hydrangea, plus all kinds of fruit trees including peach, pear, mulberry, chestnut, dragon fruit, and banana, all on BOGO this week. So check them out. It's a great deal on Bob Wine's gigantic selection of crepe myrtles, too. They start at just $6.99 for the white ones. And it's a super popular white crepe myrtles that everyone loves. Also, larger sizes are available. Got a yard problem and you need some advice? We give advice and it's free every day. Go to bobwinescamelliagardens.net or come visit us on Southeast 38th Street, Ocala, each day till 4:30. It's in the same blooming place since 1952.
WOCA.
Prevention is important. Help prevent the spread of illness and keep yourself and others well. Here are some of the most effective ways you can prevent the spread of germs. Wash your hands by scrubbing thoroughly with soap and hot water for at least 20 seconds, and always wash before you touch your face, eat, or drink. Use hand sanitizers in addition to hand washing or where soap and water are not available. Limit sharing of items such as utensils, cups, and dishes. Avoid all physical contact with others, including handshakes and kisses. Practice social distancing by maintaining a distance of 6 feet from others. Sneeze or cough into a tissue or the inside of your elbow. Avoid contact with ill individuals and insist they isolate themselves. Sanitize frequently touched surfaces in your home and workplace several times a day. An ounce of prevention is worth a ton of cure. Download the free booklet at Scientology.org/stay well.
WOCA.
Listening to AIM Ocala Live. Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday, July 10th, as we're moving through here. 20 minutes before the top of the 10 o'clock hour. As we say, it's going to be a warm one today. That's what we've been talking about. It's hot and sticky. hot and sticky coming through the weekend. As we're moving through here, is now an opportunity to give you guys, we got some good ones today for On This Day in History as we take a look back at certain events that have happened on this day in history as July 10th. We're going to go back to 1924, and there's some good stuff on here altogether as mentioned here. So we go back to 1924. This one's a little bit my wheelhouse again. In 1924, aviator Howard Hughes makes a record flight around the world on this day in history. He completed the trip in just 91 hours, breaking the previous record by more than 4 days, taking off from New York City in a Lockheed Super Electra, and he continued to Paris, Moscow, Omsk, Yakutsk, Anchorage, Minneapolis, Yakutsk, that's what it is. Anchorage, Minneapolis, and ending back in New York City as makes a record flight around the world, completing the trip in just 91 hours. It was on this day in history. As we know, Howard Robert Hughes Jr. was an American business magnate, investor, record-setting pilot, engineer, film director, philanthropist, known during his lifetime as one of the most financially successful individuals in the world. He first became prominent as a film producer and then as an influential figure in the aviation industry. My wheelhouse. Later in life, he became known for his eccentric behavior, though, and recluse lifestyle oddities that were caused in part by his worsening obsessive-compulsive disorder, or OCD, and chronic pain from a near-fatal plane crash and increasing deafness, which just happens from flying airplanes. As a film tycoon, Hughes gained fame in Hollywood beginning in the late 1920s when he produced big-budget and often controversial films such as The Racket, Hell's Angels, 1930, and Scarface, 1932. Later, he controlled the RKO Film Studio. Hughes formed the Hughes Aircraft Company in 1932, hiring numerous engineers and designers. Spent the rest of his 1930s and much of his 1940s setting multiple world air speed records that we're talking about today on this day in history, with the record of flight around the world in 91 hours as world air speed records, and building the Hughes H-1 Racer and H-4 Hercules, the Spruce Goose, as he acquired and expanded Trans World Airlines, TWA, and later acquired Air West, renaming it Hughes Air West. Hughes was included in Flying Magazine's list of 51 heroes of aviation, ranked number 25 today. So, like we said, in my wheelhouse just there a little bit. Good morning, WOCA. You're on the air.
Good morning, Adam. I have a question for you.
Hey, Sonny. Yeah.
Sonny calling. What's that steel building? It looks like it's 6 stories tall. It's quite tall, right near the control tower on Ocala's International Airport. And I was really wondering about that. It's going to be quite a tall building, quite a large building.
Gotcha.
Do you know anything about it?
Are you referring to the one where the framework is already up, the steel framework?
Yeah, it's the framework right now. That's all you see.
Roger. Yeah, that's actually, as big as it looks to be, that's actually just going to be another hangar for multiple airplanes to be hangared in. So nothing really truly super special about it other than it's just another hangar on the field for the opportunity to put more of the corporate airplanes in a hangar to keep them out of the weather for not only maybe the people who have a corporate airplane at the airport, but even for the ones that come in transient that have to stay a few days. They'll have the opportunity to be hangared overnight if they're going to be there for a few days. But it is once we, being out there every day, we see them clearing the area out and then leveling the land and everything. But it's neat now to see it becoming erect. And as it is, it looks like it's going to be something stupendous, but it's really just going to be a hangar to have more airplanes in.
Oh, no, it could be a hangar for a blimp or something. I don't know. It's awful tall.
it's pretty big. And I think the expectation there, too, is to put some very more large aircraft in there because we do have some ones on the field and some airplanes that are locally owned that are fairly large, but with being able to put them in there, too, be able to put them there with other airplanes as well. Just at least have the opportunity to.
It just seems a little tall to me, but other than that, that sounds good.
Yeah. Like
our airport's getting to be recognized.
It sure is. It sure is. There's always been plans. I know I had seen something not that long ago about a 20-year plan that was years ago that was looking to see where this airport could go. It was pretty expansive, but at the same time, we see changes happening now that will make it more operational, especially as our community grows. I don't foresee, though. I know a lot of people have always asked me with the building of the new terminal, the general aviation terminal and stuff like that, that if there were going to be big commercial airliners to come in and out of here, and maybe sometime in the later future, but nothing.
I used to go down to county commission meetings almost every month when they had them. And several times that was brought up about the Ocala Airport, and they named it Ocala International Airport at that time. And there was all kinds of talk about all kinds of things happening, but for the longest time, nothing happened really until
right.
Several hangars have been built, for and it looks like corporations. There's one hangar there. They store about 3 twin-engine jets and small planes in there.
Yeah, that's
and
right.
That's quite large, but that's more towards the south of the airfield.
Right.
And to see this going up, I was really curious. It seems awful tall to me, other than the fact that maybe have some commercial planes that have a tall tail fin. Mm-hmm. Or the elevators are up there on near the top of the tail fin.
Yeah, yep.
But anyway, it's interesting to see, and I guess we're going to see a lot more. I always got a kick out of the planes coming into for the horses.
Yeah.
Like the DC-10s and stuff. And I don't know how they get a racehorse or a thoroughbred horse up those ramps. I was told they actually sedate them a little bit to put them in a plane.
They do, and it's an interesting process. And my colleagues and stuff, we love when that airplane comes in, a 727 for the horses. It's fascinating because the runway's just long enough for them to take off with all that weight. When they're loaded, they use every little inch of the runway, and even sometimes they'll get, which is okay, and it's appropriate and it's allowed. Sometimes they'll even scrape the little bit of the tail as they depart too. But it's very fascinating to watch them, like I said, use every little inch of runway. I do let people know that for the ones that always come out and say, hey, are we going to have commercial air flights in and out of our airport right here of Ocala, and that's nothing on the horizon yet for anything like that. And I kind of tell them, you don't want that, because when you hear that 727 take off, it's pretty loud. Like I said, it uses every little inch of runway, and that sucker's loud. Well, imagine that about 11 times before noon.
One of the other things when we were at the meeting, I think they lengthened, this was years ago now, they passed a bill to lengthen the runway, and the runway at Ocala Airport can accommodate a 747 landing.
Right. And I think there's even talks of them maybe lengthening it a little bit more. Right now we're sitting just over 7,000 feet of runway, and I think they want to make it close to 10. So they would add just a little bit on each side, more so towards the south end, which would make you land facing the north.
Right. It seems like the airport has, quite a little bit of property on the south end.
Yeah, and that would give them something close to 10,000 feet of runway, which makes it easy and accessible for all those big airplanes.
Last time I was there, they had a air show, and they had a 1929 Ford Tri-Motor there, and you could take a ride in it. I still have pictures of taking a ride in that thing.
Yeah.
And it was it was quite a ride. You went up over towards the mall, Ocala Mall, and around, up, down Silver Springs Boulevard, all the way back to the airport.
Yeah.
But anyway, I was curious about that building.
Yeah. Well, thanks for the call, Sonny.
Have a great weekend now.
You too, partner. Appreciate it. And thanks for listening, too. But yeah, just a hangar that's going up to be able to house more of the aircraft, especially the bigger ones there overnight altogether. And then for those who are wondering, we say Ocala International Airport. What makes the airport international, by the way, is everybody thinks that, international flights here and there, that's what's going to happen. Actually, as long as you have a customs agent at the field that can check in some airplanes that come from, say, the Bahamas or somewhere else like that, is what makes it international. So it's not like we're having flights from there go to France very often, but that's always the misconception with it, too. But thanks for the call, partner. And like I said, in the wheelhouse of when we're mentioning on this day in history, it was aviator Howard Hughes that we were discussing there a little bit with his career. As on this day in history, he makes the world record flight around the world as he completed the trip in 91 hours, breaking the previously held record by more than 4 days, which was pretty cool there nonetheless. Moving on, just a year later, 1925, on this date, 1925, I thought this one was interesting, thinking about the times that we lived in back then, is Scopes, or, quote, monkey trial begins. John T. Scopes, a science teacher in Tennessee who was charged with violating the state's Butler Act. And the Butler Act, which made it illegal to teach evolution in Tennessee schools. The trial was based on the charge that he did unlawfully and willfully teach in Tennessee schools certain theories that deny the story of divine creation of man as told in the Bible. He was found guilty on July 21st and received a $100 fine. But it was on this day in history that began, as Scopes' involvement in the so-called Scopes monkey trial came about after the American Civil Liberties Union, or the ACLU, announced that it would, finance a test case challenging the constitutionality of the Butler Act if they could find a Tennessee teacher who was willing to act as the defendant. And then steps in John T. Scopes. As a band of businessmen in Dayton, Tennessee, led by engineer and geologist George Rapallia, saw this as an opportunity to get the publicity for their town and then approached Scopes. As Rapallia pointed out, that while the Butler Act prohibited the teaching of human evolution, the state required teachers to use the assigned textbooks of Hunter's Civic Biology, back from 1914. It said, which included a chapter on evolution. It says he argued that the teachers were essentially required to break the law. And when asked about the test case, Scopes was initially reluctant to get involved, but after some discussion, he told the group gathered in Robinson's drugstore that if you can prove that I've taught evolution and that I can qualify as a defendant, then I would be willing to stand trial. By the time the trial began, which was done this day in history, 1925, the defense team included Clarence Darrow, Dudley Field Malone, John Neal, Arthur Garfield Hayes, and Frank McWheely. It says here that the prosecution team, led by Tom Stewart, included brothers Herbert Hicks and Sue K. Hicks, Wallace Hagford, father and son of Pairings Ben and J. Gordon McKenzie, and a whole other team. It says the elder Brian had spoke at Scopes High School commencement, and remember the defendant was laughing while he was giving the address to the graduating class 6 years later. It says the court case ended on July 21st, 1925, with a guilty verdict. It says Scopes was fined $100, roughly $1,400 if you constitute the amount of money from back in 1925 to what it is today. As they say, roughly $1,400 or $1,460 in today's money. As the case was appealed to the Tennessee Supreme Court, and a 3-1 decision written by Chief Justice Grafton Green, the Butler Act was held to be constitutional. But the court overturned Scopes' conviction because the judge had set the fine instead of the jury. So the Butler Act remained in effect until May 18th, 1967, when it was replaced by the Tennessee legislature. Scopes may have actually been innocent of the crime to which his name is exonerably linked. It says after the trial, he admitted to the reporter William Kinsey Hutchinson, "I didn't violate the law," explaining that he had skipped the evolution lesson that his lawyers had coached his students to go on the stand, as the Dayton businessman had assumed that he had violated the law. Hutchinson did not file a story until after the Scopes appeal was decided, then 2 years later in 1927. Incredible, but interesting stuff nonetheless with the monkey trials with John T. Scopes as the science teacher in Tennessee charged with violating the Butler Act for the state of Tennessee, which made it illegal to teach evolution in Tennessee schools. This trial began on this day in history, which is pretty incredible nonetheless. But we've got more on this day in history to come as we are approaching the top of the 10 o'clock hour. Whoa, boy, Adam, get your time right, huh? As we're approaching the top of the 10 o'clock hour, we're going to have more on this day in history. We got a lot more to get through, which are just awesome to keep the conversation rolling here and get you something to talk about for the weekend. Just to look back on history, nonetheless, it's pretty cool. As we were mentioning with this Friday show, just moving on through here to get you closer to that weekend. And with that weekend, we've been mentioning with the idea of wet weather that's going to be coming through for afternoon showers and thunderstorms. We can see it already starting to cloud up now as we're approaching 90 degrees, 87 out there as it's creeped up this temperature fairly quickly here within the morning, as it's not quite 10 o'clock yet, and it is hot. Heat index valued 107 today, so do be careful with that, as we can hope for maybe rain this afternoon to get ourselves cooled down just a little bit. But stay tuned, more AM Ocala Live coming your way. I'm your host, Adam McGillen, as we say happy Friday to everybody. Thank you for listening. We're going to be back right after this. WOCA, The Source, WOCA Ocala, 96.3 FM, 1370 AM. Back after this.
I'm Chris Foster. Coronavirus deaths are trending back up in the U.S. following an increase in cases and hospitalizations in some states, including Florida.
Despite the surging numbers, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis is still pushing for schools to be open for the new school year, which here in Florida begins in August. He says he wants parents to have options for either sending kids to school or having them educated virtually.
Fox's Evan Brown. More than 60,000 new confirmed coronavirus cases in the country is a new all-time high. Seoul, South Korea's mayor, Park Won-soon, is found dead a few miles from his office, leaving behind a note.
He writes, "I apologize to everyone," saying he's caused his family only pain. Park was a huge figure in South Korean politics and was seen as a possible presidential candidate. His family reported him missing yesterday, and police say there are no signs of foul play. South Korean media says the mayor had just been accused of sexual harassment.
Fox's Simon Owen. America's listening to Fox News.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-700-6898. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-700-6898. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-700-6898. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-700-6898. 800-700-6898.
Tom.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
How to stop a cute critter from wreaking havoc in your garden. That's coming up on This Land of Ours.
Welcome to the All In for Citrus podcast. There's a new resource available that brings all of Florida's citrus research together, delivering it right to you on your computer, phone, or tablet. Introducing the All In for Citrus podcast from UF IFAS in partnership with Southeast AgNet. The monthly series spans the Sunshine State with research project updates from the UF IFAS statewide citrus team. Listen to the latest episode by searching All In for Citrus on iTunes, your favorite podcasting application, or at citrusindustry.net.
Healthy soil can help protect your farm from drought, improve production, and protect soil and water resources. Plus, healthy soil can lower input costs, and that can lead to a healthier bottom line for your business. Contact your local Natural Resources Conservation Service office today and unlock the secrets in your soil. This message brought to you by the NRCS and this radio station.
Raccoons are cute, extremely smart, and highly skilled troublemakers, especially when it comes to your garden. They're particularly fond of corn, tomatoes, watermelons, sweet potatoes, and peas. They also enjoy orchard fruit such as apples, peaches, and strawberries. Raccoons are also attracted to pet food, bird feeders, and smelly trash cans. One surefire way to keep them out is by making your space less raccoon-friendly. Try building a tall fence of woven wire, or installing an electric fence. You can also try keeping them at bay by deterring them with things that smell bad or might irritate their sensitive paws. Noisemakers might send them in the other direction. Always keep pet food locked up and consider locks for your garbage can lids. And if possible, plant things that are tall enough to keep out of raccoons' reach. Remember to use caution if you find you have a raccoon coming into your garden or home. Raccoons are defensive. If they feel threatened, they may attack. I'm Kathy Isom, Southeast AgNet.
Why call two men in a truck? If you're like most people, you're moving and you work hard. You've got lots of stuff and no time to move it. You need pros, trained, professional moving experts to do the heavy lifting for you. A team who will work hard and get the job done right. People who care about your things as much as you do. Time is of the essence, and you want it done fast. That's why you call Two Men in a Truck, the movers who care. Visit twomeninatruck.com today and get moving, or call 352-289-0666.
2 Men in a Truck. Oh, hey, Grandpa. Oh, hey, Grandpa. Hey, Grandpa.
Yes, buddy?
Can you take me fishing this weekend?
I'd love to.
Have you noticed a change in your hearing over the years? Missing the little things in life? Visit Beneficial Hearing in Ocala today. Their expert team of audiologists will make sure you never miss a moment. Call Beneficial Hearing today at 352-629-4418 or visit them online, beneficialhearing.com.
Hello, I'm Mark Sears with Regency Printing. With over 10 years in the printing business, I know you'll find Regency Printing the place for all your local printing needs. Plus, I have fax services, mailbox rentals, notary service, U.S. mail, pack and ship, all at one convenient location, 2375 Northeast 25th Avenue. Just look for the yellow signs. Regency Printing, 789-6683. That's 789-6683. Regency Printing.
Pals Ocala Auto Repair fixes all makes and models. Pals makes sure that your vehicle's engine, mechanical, and electrical components are healthy at all times. Pals team would much rather see you drive to their shop for a full checkup than be towed in for a complex repair. Give Pals a call today to schedule your next service appointment. 352-414-2984. What? A nationwide warranty, 36 months or 36,000 miles, whichever comes first? Pals looks forward to servicing you and servicing your vehicle. 352-414-2984.
WOCA.
Time for a whole bunch of summertime sale BOGOs at Bob Wine's Camellia Garden in Ocala. Here are just a few of the buy one, get one free deals in this week's ad. Bob has ever-blooming button gardenias, blue and white plumbago, budded and blooming hydrangea, plus all kinds of fruit trees including peach, pear, mulberry, chestnut, dragon fruit, and banana, all on BOGO this week. So check them out. It's a great deal on Bob Wine's gigantic selection of crepe myrtles, too. They start at just $6.99 for the white ones. And it's a super popular white crepe myrtles that everyone loves. Also, larger sizes are available. Got a yard problem and you need some advice? We give advice and it's free every day. Go to bobwinescamelliagardens.net or come visit us on Southeast 38th Street, Ocala, each day till 4:30. It's in the same blooming place since 1952.
Prevention is important. Help prevent the spread of illness and keep yourself and others well. Here are some of the most effective ways you can prevent the spread of germs. Wash your hands by scrubbing thoroughly with soap and hot water for at least 20 seconds, and always wash before you touch your face, eat, or drink. Use hand sanitizers in addition to hand washing or where soap and water are not available. Limit sharing of items such as utensils, cups, and dishes. Avoid all physical contact with others, including handshakes and kisses. Practice social distancing by maintaining a distance of 6 feet from others. Sneeze or cough into a tissue or the inside of your elbow. Avoid contact with ill individuals and insist they isolate themselves. Sanitize frequently touched surfaces in your home and workplace several times a day. An ounce of prevention is worth a ton of cure. Download the free booklet at Scientology.org/stay well.
WOCA.
Listening to AM Ocala Live, WOCA The Source. So happy Friday. July 10th, moving on with our show here as we got it clouding up a little bit more outside with the expectation of afternoon thunderstorms and some rain. We might need it just to cool things down a little bit overall as we reach a heat index value of 107. Man, oh man. Stay in the air conditioning today, right? As although that heat's not good for the coronavirus, right? So, in a way, just let it cook everything outside, I guess. I don't know. Moving on, anyway, we're doing our On This Day in History as we take a look back at things that happened on this day in history. 1924 is where we started. We got up to 1925. As we're moving through here, we got a few more to get to. As we go to 1962, as in 1962 on this day in history, Telstar was launched. Telstar, the world's first communications satellite and privately sponsored space launch, was launched into orbit. The Telstar communications satellite relays the first live transatlantic television signal and the world's telephone call transmitted through space that happened then July 23rd. So that's pretty cool. And look how far we've come now with the idea of our Starlink satellites that get launched right here from Cape Kennedy with the Falcon 9 rocket that get put up into orbit, with the idea of the expanse of getting internet all around the world for places that are pretty far off the grid, so to speak. As it was 1962, the Telstar was launched. And like they said, the satellite relays the first live transatlantic television signal and then the world's first telephone call transmitted through space on July 23rd. But it was on this day that it was launched. That's kind of cool. 1964, as we move on this day in history, 1964. Oh, yeah, as those summertime music releases that come through, especially in the 60s, good tunage all the way. It was the Beatles on this day in 1964 that released A Hard Day's Night album as the soundtrack to their first film of the same name. The album included well-known tracks which entered the charts as singles, including A Hard Day's Night, obviously, Tell Me Why, You Can't Buy Me Love, and I Love Her. And Hard Day's Night was a good one overall, as that was released on this day in 1964. And just thinking about it, when it comes to the Beatles, just how many albums that they actually released in such a short period of time. Really, the existence of the Beatles wasn't for very long. When you look, especially when you compare it to the look of the Rolling Stones or like Aerosmith, or stuff like that. It's they were just together just for a little bit. As we move on here, we take a look the year later, as 1965, like we said, summer of good music in the 60s. As I mentioned, the Rolling Stones, this one was a segue right into it. It was on this day in history, July 10th, 1965, the Rolling Stones' first #1 hit, as the Rolling Stones have their first #1 single on the U.S. Billboard charts. I Can't Get No Satisfaction from the album Out of Our Heads, as that was the #1 song on this day in history back in 1965. So like I said, probably the idea of summer song releases and summer songs hitting the top of the Billboard charts back in the 60s is pretty cool. As we look on this day in 1985, I thought this one was kind of interesting here because I didn't know much about it, but when I looked it up, it had a little more to it. It was Rainbow Warrior. And it says the Rainbow Warrior is sunk. It says the Greenpeace ship Rainbow Warrior is sunk when French agents plant a bomb on the hull of the boat while docked at the Auckland harbor in New Zealand. The Rainbow Warrior had been preparing for a protest voyage to the French nuclear site in the South Pacific, as Rainbow Warrior was a Greenpeace boat active in supporting a number of anti-whaling, anti-seal hunting, anti-nuclear testing, and anti-nuclear waste dumping campaigns from the 1970s and the early 80s. The ship was bombed in the port of Auckland in New Zealand by operatives of the French Intelligence Service, or the DGSC, on this day in 1985, sinking the ship and killing photographer Fernando Perrier. As the Rainbow Warrior was commissioned by the UK Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries and Food as a trawler called the Sir William Hardy. It was built in 1955 in Aberdeen, Scotland. It was later purchased by the environmental organization Greenpeace Group for the United Kingdom. It says in 1977 the ship was acquired by Greenpeace, United Kingdom, at a cost of £37,000 and went under a 4-month refit, and it was relaunched on May 2nd, 1978 as the Rainbow Warrior. The ship named Greenpeace co-founder Susie Newborn after the book Warriors of the Rainbow, which she had been given by another Greenpeace co-founder, Robert Hunter. The book's rhetoric included the passage, quote, "The world is sick and dying. The people will rise up like warriors of the rainbow." After a series of high-profile campaigns in the North Atlantic, including 2 escapes from captivity in Spain, resulting in the resignation of the admiral in the Spanish Navy, Rainbow Warrior made its way to North America, where it underwent modification in 1981 and fitting of sails in a ketch rig, 1985. And in early 1985, Rainbow Warrior was in the Pacific Ocean campaigning against nuclear testing. In May, it relocated 300 Marshall Islanders from the Rongelap Atoll, which had been polluted by radioactivity from past American nuclear tests in the Pacific Proving Grounds. And then it traveled to New Zealand to lead a flotilla of yachts protesting against the French nuclear testing at the Muramura Atoll and the Tuamotu archipelago of French Polynesia. During previous nuclear tests in Muramura, it says protest ships had been aboarded the French commandos after sailing it into the ship exclusion zone after the atoll. It says for the 1985 tests, Greenpeace intended to monitor the impact of nuclear tests and place protesters on the island to monitor the blasts. However, the DGSC, or as they put it, the French Intelligence Service, said Agent Christine Carmen infiltrated the Auckland offices of the organization and secretly monitored communications from the Rainbow Warrior, collected maps, investigated underwater equipment, and French agents posing as interested supporters or tourists also toured the ship while it was open to public viewing. And then was on this day in history that it was sank. as there was a bomb put on the hull of the boat as it was docked in New Zealand's Auckland Harbor on this day in history. Incredible, nonetheless. Moving on, 1998, as this one's... As on this date in 1998, the Diocese of Dallas agreed to pay $23.4 million to 9 former altar boys of the Catholic Church who said that they were molested by 52-year-old Rudolph Rudy Cause, who is now serving a life sentence in prison through everything that was going through the late 90s with the idea of the not-so-great stuff back in the idea of the Catholic Church, child molestation. Moving on to 1999, as the United States partied like in 1999, it was 1999 that the U.S. women's soccer team win the World Cup. The U.S. women's soccer team wins the final between the U.S. and China, beating the Chinese team in a penalty shootout at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena, California, making them the FIFA Women's World Cup champions, as if you remember that one, highlighted with Mia Hamm once she kicked the game-winning goal, the penalty shot, then ripped her shirt off with her knees on the ground, cheering, as that was a good time as America come together in support of the first Women's Soccer World Cup victory for the FIFA Women's World Cup, as they are champions. And they've fit the bill ever since then as being such a huge competitor in the Women's World Cup and being so successful at it nonetheless. Moving on to 2002, as we're now in the new millennium, is 2002 on this date in history as the Nevada Yucca Mountain Nuclear Dump Site. It says the United States Senate gives final approval, to bury all of the country's nuclear waste in Yucca Mountain, Nevada, about 80 miles from Las Vegas. The plans include storing 70,000 metric tons of radioactive material from the America's 103 nuclear power plants deep inside the mountain for what they assume to be, or hope to, 10,000 years. As of 2008, the project is still not accepting nuclear waste due to legal challenges, funding, the transport of nuclear waste issues, and ongoing political pressure. Currently, there are 130 separate nuclear waste sites scattered around the United States. As that's kind of interesting there. 70,000 metric tons of radioactive material from America's 103 nuclear power plants tucking them deep inside the mountain for what they assume to be, hopefully, for about 10,000 years, as the half-life of it continues to break down and break down and break down. Interesting nonetheless. As we take a look here, it says 2008 as U.S. Karl Rove, former aide to ex-President George W. Bush. Karl Rove refused to appear a congressional hearing on this day in history, as Rove was accused of politicizing the judiciary branch of the United States government and was allegedly involving the firing of the United States attorneys for political reasons, as Rove refused to show up based on the principle of executive privilege. Karl Rove back in 2008. And 2011... This one was interesting here, as did they make a movie of it or something close to it? But it was on this day in history, kind of my wheelhouse again. 2011, businessman reaches 10 million frequent flyer miles. A businessman from Chicago reached 10 million frequent flyer miles with the United Airlines after 29 years of loyalty to the airline company. As a reward for his feat, an insurmountable feat if you think about it, for his feat, he will never have to wait in line, always gets upgraded, and it says here, and will have a plane named after him. So as a reward for his feat of flying so frequently and being so loyal to the United Airlines, after 29 years of that loyalty to the airline company, he's rewarded with his feat has never to wait in line, doesn't have to wear a mask, always gets upgraded, and has a plane named after him. I'm just kidding about the mask part. Thomas Stuker had been on 5,962 flights before reaching this milestone. That's incredible. Hey, what about the pilots? They're frequent flyers. I guess they get an income, so that's that. But the loyalty to that guy, 5,962 flights. He's going to have a plane named after him. That's kind of cool. That'll do it for On This Day in History. We're going to take a short little break. We'll come back and we'll round that out and get to the bottom of the 10 o'clock hour as we welcome Ocala Magazine to round out the show when we get back. WOCA Ocala back after this.
Why call two men in a truck? If you're like most people, you're moving and you work hard. You've got lots of stuff and no time to move it. You need pros, trained, professional moving experts to do the heavy lifting for you. A team who will work hard and get the job done right. People who care about your things as much as you do. Time is of the essence and you want it done fast. That's why you call Two Men in a Truck, the movers who care. Visit twomeninatruck.com today and get moving. Or call 352-289-0666.
2 Men in a Truck. Oh, hey, Grandpa. Oh, hey, Grandpa. Hey, Grandpa.
Yes, buddy?
Can you take me fishing this weekend?
I'd love to.
Have you noticed a change in your hearing over the years? Missing the little things in life? Visit Beneficial Hearing in Ocala today. Their expert team of audiologists will make sure you never miss a moment. Call Beneficial Hearing today at 352-629-4418 or visit them online, beneficialhearing.com.
Hello, I'm Mark Sears with Regency Printing. With over 10 years in the printing business, I know you'll find Regency Printing the place for all your local printing needs. Plus, I have fax services, mailbox rentals, notary service, U.S. mail, pack and ship, all at one convenient location, 2375 Northeast 25th Avenue. Just look for the yellow signs. Regency Printing, 789-6683. That's 789-6683. Regency Printing.
Pals Ocala Auto Repair fixes all makes and models. Pals makes sure that your vehicle's engine, mechanical, and electrical components are healthy at all times. Pals team would much rather see you drive to their shop for a full checkup than be towed in for a complex repair. Give Pals a call today to schedule your next service appointment. 352-414-2984. What? A nationwide warranty, 36 months or 36,000 miles, whichever comes first? Pals looks forward to servicing you and servicing your vehicle. 352-414-2984.
Time for a whole bunch of summertime sale BOGOs at Bob Wine's Camellia Garden in Ocala. Here are just a few of the buy one, get one free deals in this week's ad. Bob has ever-blooming button gardenias, blue and white plumbago, budded and blooming hydrangea, plus all kinds of fruit trees including peach, pear, mulberry, chestnut, dragon fruit, and banana, all on BOGO this week. So check them out. It's a great deal on Bob Wine's gigantic selection of crepe myrtles, too. They start at just $6.99 for the white ones. And it's a super popular white crepe myrtles that everyone loves. Also, larger sizes are available. Got a yard problem and you need some advice? We give advice and it's free every day. Go to bobwinescamelliagardens.net or come visit us on Southeast 38th Street, Ocala, each day till 4:30. It's in the same blooming place since 1952.
Prevention is important. Help prevent the spread of illness and keep yourself and others well. Here are some of the most effective ways you can prevent the spread of germs. Wash your hands by scrubbing thoroughly with soap and hot water for at least 20 seconds, and always wash before you touch your face, eat, or drink. Use hand sanitizers in addition to hand washing or where soap and water are not available. Limit sharing of items such as utensils, cups, and dishes. Avoid all physical contact with others, including handshakes and kisses. Practice social distancing by maintaining a distance of 6 feet from others. Sneeze or cough into a tissue or the inside of your elbow. Avoid contact with ill individuals and insist they isolate themselves. Sanitize frequently touched surfaces in your home and workplace several times a day. An ounce of prevention is worth a ton of cure. Download the free booklet at Scientology.org/stay well.
WOCA.
And you're listening to AIM Ocala Live this Friday, July 10th. Welcome back to the show. More good show coming your way here as we are now 3 minutes before the bottom of the 10 o'clock hour. And stay tuned because when we come back from the break, we're going to have Ocala Magazine in the studio to round out the show for us. As we've had a good show here for you so far. We just finished up with On This Day in History. Some good items there to keep the conversation rolling. Here's one. It's kind of interesting. It says, your cat is in control. So there's a lot of dog lovers out there. There's a lot of cat lovers out there. There's animal lovers in general. It's I've never met a cat person who doesn't like dogs. They just own cats. But I always get asked, because I own a cat, oh, you must not like dogs. It's not the case. I don't have the lifestyle for a dog. But anyway, is your cat, if you own one, it says your cat is in control. It says crafty cats coax their owners into giving them extra food and attention, they say, scientists say, by using a special purr. Yeah, they use a soliciting purr, which has a similar frequency to what they assume is a human baby's cry. It is thought that the higher-pitched sound triggers a subconscious sense of urgency in the owner, making them give the cat whatever it wants. You believe that? I guess there's science and there's study in it. It says crafty cats coax their owners into giving them extra food with a soliciting purr. It says a similar frequency to a baby's cry. Is that right? It's thought that it's higher pitched and sounds a trigger as a subconscious sense of urgency. Incredible. That's incredible. More AIM Ocala Live when we come back. That's just something to chew on there. Maybe that's why there's so much more to spoiling the cats than it is the dogs. More AIM Ocala Live when we come back here as we got Ocala Magazine coming back next. And we'll be rounding out our show. Be sure to stay tuned for After AIM Ocala Live for the Conservative Watch Hour with your host, Annie Marie Delgado, and co-host Ann Vandersteel from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. as we do every Friday. So stay tuned, WOCA Ocala, back after this.
News. I'm Chris Foster. Coronavirus deaths are trending back up in the U.S. following an increase in cases and hospitalizations in some states, including Florida.
Despite the surging numbers, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis is still pushing for schools to be open for the new school year.